Hi, my name is Jeffrey James. I wanted to make this video because I don't think there's anything really out there at all about this subject, and I think there needs to be. That being said, I am not an expert, other than the fact that I've been reading and studying and trying to fix this thing for most of my life. And what I'm going to be talking about is something called adult sleep-related rhythmic movement disorder, meaning when you're sleeping or trying to sleep, you move your legs back and forth, or you rock your body back and forth. I rock my body back and forth like this. And you can think about it like you have a mental disability that you have no control over, like Parkinson's disease or something like that. Or you can think about it the way that I have started to think about it, and that is it's enough psychological that I can use cognitive behavioral strategies to begin to do it less. And that's a big, right off the bat, that's gonna be, throughout this video, that's gonna be a big thing to keep in mind. We're not trying to stop it, we're trying to lessen it and replace it with telling. So for me, I'm a surrealist artist, and only because of, it's funny, I am a very serious artist who is very interested in surrealism, because it's the only thing that has ever helped me. And when I say surrealism, I just mean accessing and manipulating and trying to pull out concepts and ideas from the subconscious mind. Just very interesting to me, very interesting topic, very interesting way to make art. If you look at some of the methods Salvador Dali used to tap into us subconscious, it's really cool. It's interesting. So one day I ran across this thing. Might be a long video, but I think anyone who's like me and has been looking for anything is probably willing to watch any length of video. So I'm just gonna be a little thorough and tell my story and what has been starting to work for me. So it all started with, I'm not gonna be honest, I don't think it's my legs that made me interested in surrealism in general. It was just like, that's the aesthetic of art that I was like, wow, I like that. I like weird, imaginative, dream world looking stuff that looks very strange, and the juxtaposition between the normal things and then pulling away, the wireframe the conscious mind wants to attach to them, and just messing with symbols. The way I think the subconscious works now is that it's a listener. It listens to everything that you, and this is all relevant, even if it doesn't sound like it. I'm gonna bring it on home in the end. The subconscious is something that sits there in your brain and it listens. It's just listening for what you feed it. Whether you're feeding it intentionally or unintentionally is a whole other story. If you watch a television show, you're feeding your subconscious a depiction of what you're watching. You're telling your subconscious, like, this is kind of what I'm about, and this is what I want you to take in as food and create something with, So you watch, so what you do is just a bunch of ingredients that your subconscious takes and makes into whatever it can to inform your conscious life later, like after you go to sleep or after days of you doing these similar activities. Your subconscious begins to think, that's what existence is about, that's what my identity is about, these are the things that we need to develop, these are the skills that I'm going to process while we sleep. And when I say we, it's not that I have multiple personality disorder. I love thinking of me as a we, because I can keep in perspective all the different aspects of the human mind, like my ego and my subconscious and my conscious mind, and my will seems like a little different category, because sometimes I'm doing things that my will disagrees with, just because I'm lazy. Like, I want to do the dishes, but my will is like, my will wants to, but my conscious mind is like, I don't feel like it, stuff like that. Just we. I just refer to me as a we. So we taking all this stimulus, and our subconscious, creates things, and then it affects the way we are. So there's two things everyone kind of knows about: meditation, and I think mantras are pretty common. And mantras are just repetitive things, versus doing a lot of random actions like walking around, looking at a television show, eating a cinnamon roll, talking to your friend about sports, and all these things that if you were going to write a list of meaningful things that contribute to who you're becoming in life, these things wouldn't really make the list. It's very easy to live a whole day and not do anything that's like, that was a meaningful, intentional thing that is going to, that I'm glad that I did, because I hope it affects the path of my life, And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just kind of the society we live in right now. It's an extra thing you have to do to be intentional in crafting that life that you would like to live. And all of this, man, it's to me so funny that it's all related. So let's start relating it, the subconscious mind, how you, for lack of a better term, program it by exposing it to different stimulus. So that stimulus that you expose your subconscious mind to, it's not making you do self-soothing by rocking or moving your legs or any sort of, oscillation movement. You don't like. It's not because you take a walk and watch a show and have a campfire and ride your bike that your subconscious is like, yeah, that we want to rock back and forth. That's what I have determined based on that stimulus. What's happening is at some point you learned. Well, when you're little, this may or may not be true. Either your mom or someone rocked you to sleep and it was soothing, and you learned that rocking back and forth is soothing, or you didn't have it, and you developed a coping mechanism of self-soothing by rocking back and forth, right? And you grew up, and when all your friends grew out of it, or when maybe you didn't have many friends that did it, but maybe you had a few friends that did rock back and forth, they grew out of it. They grew up and they developed things that allowed them to not rock back and forth. Either however, like for me, it doesn't make sense of how, because of how my brain went, where it didn't let go. But it's what it seems like based on my reading is that, it seems like either people just developed other ways to create a soothing mental space, or they just grew out of it. Like they just no longer was necessary, so they stopped. They just stopped. They just didn't feel like doing it anymore. Just natural or very organic, natural process. It just kind of faded out, and then which is frustrating, because for me it's like, well, why didn't mine fade out? I want mine to. That would be great. Instead of having to do all this thinking and working and reading and why didn't my rhythmic movements just fade out? That's not fair. I'm 31 and I rock myself back and forth like a sweet little baby. And it's kind of embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's frustrating because it prevents me from sleeping. Instead, some people, based on there's a lot of people. If you look for it, you can find a lot of people who are adults and do this, and they say I like it and it helps me fall asleep. Like for me, not at all. What it does for me is it puts me in this like trance state where I'm not sleeping, but I'm getting this like soothing comfort, sitting there rocking, but not sleeping. I'm not sleeping. And I never get quality of sleep, and I never feel refreshed in the morning. People talk about how they feel so great and refreshed and awake in the morning, and it doesn't happen all the time. But like, I don't know if I can think of any time I've ever been like, yeah, I'm just awake and refreshed, and I slept well. I had a good sleep. Like that. That's like a foreign concept to me because of this. Because I sit there and soothe myself versus sleeping. So I'm doing this, right? And now, I guess I have to add, just pepper in this little personal philosophy of mine. Something that has kind of changed my life in a lot of different ways. Because this is not my only problem in life. I have a lot of things I'd like to address and work on. But a phrase that has helped me across the board is, I don't have to be really concerned about what the truth is. That's pretty difficult to just know, like, this is the absolute truth. I found it. Yay. But what I did realize one day is this phrase came to mind when I was perseverating. I'm like, well, it's not true, but you gotta hang on to something. You gotta do something. You gotta try something. You can't just be like, I don't know if it's truth. I'm not gonna try that or that or that or that. I'm gonna avoid everything because I don't know if it's real. And for me, it was just like, what if I just act like it's real? Just act like it's real, because to be an explorer of things, like I'm gonna just treat it like it's real, try it on, and if I've noticed some results, great. So that's the concept to just kind of keep in mind a little bit. Back to rhythmic movement syndrome. I just decided, and I can't tell you this is true or not, um, that the rocking and the soothing is 100% an activity of my subconscious. My subconscious is the one that's doing it. My subconscious mind has a belief that I need to be soothed, and I very well need to be. Because if there was, I think the compulsion, the impulse, the intense desire, it feels a little different than other desires. Like, it doesn't feel like the desire for, like, a craving for chocolate cake or something like that. The desire is more intense. It's like a desire that if you don't pay attention with your conscious mind enough, you're just going to do it automatically with no connection to your conscious mind. You'll just start I'll just start rocking, and then my conscious mind kicks in and be like, I don't want to do that. Stop it. Stop. We're not doing that. But that's not very successful, because I can't sit there and keep that and hold that thought in my mind. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's kind of like similar to probably some addictions. Like if there was a cigarette sitting right on the table and I had to sit here all day and I was trying to quit smoking, I would just have to sit here and go, don't do it, don't, no, 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 no. But eventually, if I just had to sit here, I would eventually be like, screw it, and then oh yeah, and that's kind of what really, that's, to me, in my mind, that's a really good illustration of what it feels like. It feels like resisting this urge to smoke, and then smoking, and then when I finally do it, it's so good, it's so nice. It's like, oh yeah. But my will, the will that is inside me, which I think is a little part of your conscious mind, but a little bit separate. It's a little bit it's like in the same city, but it's kind of on the outskirts, your will. Because sometimes your will and your consciousness do not agree on things. But your will, it's like your will and your conscious mind disagree, and they're fighting. But one beautiful thing, and a big key to this, is that I feel that the will and the subconscious mind do agree. It's like the will and the subconscious mind are buddies that get along very well. So when the will is like, hey, subconscious mind, Jeffrey really needs this. The subconscious, and I do that a lot. Let's say I just have a mantra. Subconscious mind, Jeffrey really needs this. Jeffrey really needs this. We really need this. This is really needed. This is really needed. And you'd use actually different words that are actually specific to what you would like to happen. But do it. It's ridiculous. But if you want to get better, sometimes you have to be ridiculous. If you want a real change in your life, you have to be absolutely ridiculous and maybe look like an insane person if you really want to change your life. Because it's not common. It's not common for me to be sitting in a coffee shop and say out loud, when I'm moving my legs, hey legs, and start rubbing my legs. Hey guys, that is something that has served us very well for a long time, because we needed to be soothed. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with that behavior, except for it just doesn't serve us anymore. It doesn't do what it has done in the past. And it's great that we've learned that mechanism of coping and of soothing ourselves. But now, instead of turning inward for soothing, we have all the skills we need to turn outward and find what soothes us in the environment that we live in. So legs, instead of doing that, instead of bouncing up and down, let's go play the guitar. Let's go play frisbee. Let's go watch a movie with a friend. Let's go hug someone for 10 minutes. Let's go, find soothing out there, because that type of soothing is better. It's a higher quality. We have this low quality one we can do if we need it, but I don't think we're in a position now. This great position. We've grown. We've advanced in our existential career enough to where we really don't even need it. We don't need to rely on it at all. I'll rub my legs and I'll say all of that kind of stuff. Or ideally, this is a newer concept. I don't think I've had a real world thing, but where I'd like to be and what I think will work for sure. is doing that whenever I do it, wherever I am. I stop and out loud I say, hey, I appreciate it. It does feel soothing. And I'm glad that we have that tool in our arsenal, or we have had it. It's helped a lot. But right now, let's focus all of our energy on this activity that is soothing. I'm at a coffee shop. I'm drinking coffee and I'm reading a very enjoyable book. And that is a form of soothing. It's different than we're used to. It might feel foreign. We might not get the same soothed feeling from it, but there will be one. And we have to pay attention to it, pay attention to how that makes us feel, this new version of being soothed. Because this new version is better for us, it's more healthy. And I hope to always do it. I hope to look like a really weird man sitting in a coffee shop talking to his legs. Because at this point, I'm desperate enough to where that's worth it. If that cures it, it's totally worth it. I don't care if some people think I'm crazy. I don't care. You know, it's so frustrating that it doesn't matter anymore. Nothing matters anymore. People's opinions about this particular thing, maybe other things, but this is something I really need to go away. And the first mantra, or the first repeated words that help to communicate with your subconscious mind, because like I said, it's an activity of the subconscious, and the part of your subconscious that is your will is not good at telling the conscious mind to stop. Telling the conscious mind to stop is like the cigarette. It's like, stop, don't do it, 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 don't do it. That's what it feels like to try to stop it just based on sheer will channeled through your conscious mind, right? But what does work really well, and there's a lot to this. There's a lot more exercises. There's tangible exercises like Chevral's pendulum. Look up Chevral's pendulum and do that practice, and it'll kind of prove things to yourself about how and why this might work. Maybe I'll put a link in the bottom for Chevral's pendulum. So anyway, what does work is instead of trying to channel your will through your conscious mind and just be like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, until you break down and you do it and you move the legs and you rock back and forth or whatever you're doing. And this philosophy, I'm sure, could apply to other things. Maybe this could apply to addiction. I bet it could. I mean, it's the same principles are involved. You could, just what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, whether it works for everyone or not, it's just working for me. It's working for me in a funny way, because it's like I haven't stopped. Like, that's not the goal. The goal isn't to be able to magically stop. It's to notice that I'm doing it less, even if it takes a little while. Like in 2 weeks of this. Like, patience is a big thing. Like, a lot of things we do is like, well, if there's not a pill that can make it stop, it's impossible. I can't do it. But that's not the case. That's not the way the brain works. The brain can have a SSRI. I think those are the right initials. A selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, and have more serotonin sitting around in the brain, and it can make you feel happier instantly. But unfortunately, and that's great, but also there's a lot of ways to get more serotonin without a pill. If you disciplined your life around the fact that you have a disease called deficiency in serotonin, you'd have to add disciplines to your life, and a lot of them, a lot more than other people, that produce the serotonin that you need. That's a little bit tangent, but I also struggled with depression, which is also related to not being able to stop moving my legs, to where I had to do that. I call them joy disciplines. Those are very important to me. But anyway, let's get back to the restless, or the rhythmic movement syndrome. I don't know if it applies to restless leg syndrome, because that might absolutely be something that's not psychological. I don't know, but it might. I really have no idea. So here's my first mantra was this. It was very simple. First, I started really simple. And it was, every time I'd catch myself doing those movements that I didn't want to do, with my conscious mind, I'd stop. And then I would do self-programming of the subconscious, which is just words repeated, because your subconscious is listening and taking all these ingredients in to create something that will be added to your conscious life. So the mantra was this, and mantras are silly sometimes, so this is going to be a little silly. It was, first I smile, because I believe the brain often looks at the body for what emotion it's feeling. You can look that up. Brain body determining emotion, state of body determining emotion is an interesting topic. Another tangent, but all this reading and stuff's all related. The mantra was this: I'd smile. Smiling is important. If I said and said some words like this, it's different. Your brain is processing your words differently than if you're like, I like this. This is amazing. Even if it's fake, even if I'm being totally fake, the beauty is your brain doesn't really, your brain's at worst a little confused. Like, I don't know if this is genuine, but the brain eventually does not care. Because what you're doing is you're telling your brain, I want this. I want to feel happy about this. I want this to feel like a celebration. Even if it's fake right now, I want it to feel that way. So that's how I'm going to be. So I'm teaching you, Mr. Brain, that this is something I want. Mr. Subconscious, this is something I want. Whether or not I can have the enthusiasm about it that I need to have, I just need to tell you it's what I want. And I'm going to tell you a lot. Because you need a lot. I want this to be a lot of the ingredients you're going to use. Not just like I said it once. I said it, I meditated on all day, perseverate on it. And eventually the subconscious mind's going to be like, okay, I get it. Okay, we'll start doing some stuff related to stopping those movements, I guess. I thought you wanted them. I thought they were soothing. But apparently, we need to stop now. Blah. So here's the mantra, the very first one is, stop the movement and then say and behave similar to this. We don't need that anymore. Yay! 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 Oh, we don't need that anymore. We don't need that. We don't need it anymore. Woo! We don't need that anymore. Woo! We don't need it anymore. We don't need it anymore. It's amazing. Yay! So treat it like a celebration. It might feel fake at first, but maybe a helpful exercise, if it does feel fake at first, is try finding, if there exists nearby or somewhere you could go that's not too unreasonable, go to laughter yoga, and you'll understand. Like, you could not feel like laughing, but you just will, because after a while, it's like having this guy. It's like having like part of you is a stick in the mud, part of you is like a lethargic, like I don't want to do that, and then this other part of you is like the really excited, happy friend who's like, no, come on, do it, Who you want to be, the will of what you want to be, is like something that feels inauthentic when compared to the person, the major aspect of you that doesn't want to do it. The small aspect of you that is just your will to want to be that way feels inauthentic, but it is authentic when you're feeling like it's contrived and forced and faked at first. But then you do a lot of nudging to that other aspect, the large aspect that doesn't want to do it. And you're like, come on, buddy, let's do this. We can do it. Let's do this. Let's get off the couch. Let's go for a run. Come on. And that party's like, no, I don't want to go for a run. That's bleh. I want to watch a movie. Let's watch a movie. And then you just got to keep, if it's really what you want, you just got to keep that will going, No! These movies will be here forever! Let's go for a run, because it's good for the body. We're going to feel better if we go for these runs. Do you get it? It's not just like some torture we're putting ourselves through. It's it's medicine. We're sick, and we need medicine. And one of the really good ones is runs. So let's do it. And it's sort of related. It's just kind of, there's so many things that are related. I've done so much thinking about this that's a little scattered, and I'm sorry if it's a little disjointed, but I just want to, I'll emphasize right now, anything that even like seemed way off the trail isn't. It's all on the trail. I just have so many aspects of the trail. It's hard to put them all together. So, but I think even, so if you frame things that way, all the things I've said that way, you'll understand. And the biggest part is that it's not instantaneous at all. You have to have self-compassion. You have to forgive yourself for having a horrible day and rocking back and forth like a maniac. When you've been practicing this thing a lot, you'll be like, well, it's not working. I just did it. It's not working. You just keep doing it. Just do it like it doesn't matter whether it works or not. Like a discipline. Like just think, this has no intrinsic meaning to it. It may never help me, but it's just something I'm going to add to my life. Just because I want to add some stuff, some activities, some extra activities to my life to explore them. To act as if it's true as a means of exploration. This is going to be a new discipline that I integrate. I have no emotional investment in the outcome. I have no intellectual investment in the outcome even. I'm doing this as a form of absurdity almost. This is now what I do. It's just this absurd thing I do, and it's kind of from that mentality and perspective that you're most likely to notice results after a while. And let's say it takes 3 months of discipline and practice. You will notice. You'll have at least. I believe. I don't know. I only have my own experience to go on, but this is what I believe. You will have one event where it feels different than any other time it has felt, where you feel what the sensation of your subconscious mind feels like when it is the aspect of you that is preventing your rhythmic movement. That's a specific feeling that's different from any feeling that I personally have ever felt. When your subconscious is finally getting the message that you don't want to be doing that anymore. When it's finally doing that, it goes from feeling a little bit frustrating, like you still have the compulsion, to feeling calm, like, I know we don't want to do that, so we won't. It's just I can't describe the feeling very well, but it's a very much more positive feeling in being still. When I am still and not moving, I can tell the difference between if I'm concentrating on not moving and it being automatic, and that goes into something I've been really getting into, or being interested in crafting and cultivating, and I might start some sort of projects related to it, but automatic movement. Automatic movement is Chevral's pendulums, the thing you can look up, where it's basically, whatever, the videos are already long, I might as well just go a little bit longer. Chevral's pendulum, you hold the pendulum, and it's on the bottom here, and you look at this part, you look at the pendulum. Longer the string, the better, kind of. Not too long, but, I don't know, 3 feet, 3.5 feet, 4 feet. You want to make a pendulum? String, washer, heavy washer, easy, anything. Any string, any heavy thing can make a pendulum, so you don't have to buy one or anything. You just look at the bottom one, and then you instead of, and your objective is to swing it left and right, okay? But instead of swinging it with your arm, what you do is you tell it to swing. You're like, I want you to go left, I want you to go right, please go left. And you concentrate really hard. You look real hard at that pendulum, and think, instead of thinking, I'm going to move you that way, think, I want you to. I want you to go right. I want you to go left. I want you to go right. And what happens is this arm will start moving, and it will start swinging it. And it'll start swinging it. If you sit there with it, you'll get to really big swings, and it'll feel like you have telekinesis, because what's happening is instead of your conscious mind controlling a physical behavior, your subconscious mind is kind of bypassing or just sneaking through the cracks of your conscious mind and moving your hand. And you don't have any feeling. You have no sensation that you are moving your hand. It feels like magic. It feels like you are moving it with your mind, and you are. You are moving it with your mind in a magical way, because it's not something that you're cognizant of, and it's amazing. It's like magic, cool, awesome feeling. I've taken people through the process very quick. Last person I had to try it out. It took them 2 minutes, 1 minute, and they had it, and they're like, oh my gosh, wow. So that's a very important, I guess, skill, just to know that your subconscious can do that. Your subconscious can manipulate, your limbs, even your physical movements. Now, physical movements for the subconscious, I think, are even harder than conscious movement, or conscious thoughts and things like that. Like if you have thoughts you don't want to think about, if you want to think about positivity instead of negativity, that cognitive behavioral therapy is probably even easier than starting physical movement. Than your subconscious doing physical movements, right? So what I'm doing is kind of neither with rhythmic movement syndrome. I'm trying to train my subconscious to say no movement, which I think is not that challenging. It might be the least challenging. I'm just saying, hey, subconscious, I know you have this behavior and you've done this for a while. I don't want it anymore. It doesn't serve us anymore. In fact, it doesn't have a benefit anymore because we now have the tools we need to to soothe ourselves outside of these motions that we've been doing, outside of these physical oscillations. There's a whole world now. There's this whole external world. We're grown up now. And we have the ability to stand up and move around and find things that are soothing and we can create environments for ourselves that are soothing. We have so many tools now that not only do we not need the rhythmic movement, it's not serving us. It's actually, in a way, I don't want to say harming us, because one big aspect is like, it's okay, we just don't need it anymore. It's okay, hey legs, it's okay, but we don't really need this anymore. We've grown up and we have better tools. So it's like okay that you're doing it, but it's an inefficient tool. We have way better tools. And we'd like to kind of phase this one out. We'd like to, let's phase it out. Let's stop and let's replace that with something else. That's a good idea too. Like if you catch your legs moving or rocking, be like, oh, let's stop that and go play the accordion. Let's stop that and go do this or that. You know, something that it does make you feel an inner peace, an inner calm. You know, anything. And at first, you're probably only going to be able to do it with rhythmic movement that you do when you're conscious and not in bed. But it'll help with the stuff that you're. But it'll help train your brain that you don't want the movement. So even if you don't have a replacement activity to do when you're trying to sleep, doing it, you know, anytime you can is going to inform that, and it's going to start altering that. When I'm in bed, and it happens, I just do kind of mantras. Like, we don't need that anymore. Yay! Or I'll just have a dialogue with my subconscious and my physical movements and the body aspect and the subconscious aspect and my conscious mind and my will just be like, hey guys, you know, just say a lot of the things I've already said in this video. Hey guys, that's not something we need anymore. It doesn't serve us anymore. We've replaced it. We're grown up. We can move. You know, when we were young, we needed it because we couldn't, you know, create environments. We couldn't decide the environment we wanted and build it. We couldn't, you know, we weren't smart enough to experience just the joy in looking at a leaf and thinking of everything that's involved in a leaf on a tree and how amazing that is that it exists. We couldn't meditate on it and even just being bewildered and thankful for everything. So, that's a quick overview. I could go on and on and on and on and on. I mean, this is my whole life. This has been my whole life, this struggle with this. But I'm gonna stop it there because I think I've done a pretty good job at probably more than I mean, YouTube videos are supposed to be 6 minutes or no one's gonna watch them. But I don't care. I mean, like I said, I think if anybody really struggles with this, they're gonna want to watch the whole video no matter what. So that's everything that I have experienced in this realm of rhythmic movement syndrome and not wanting to have it. I still do it. I don't know. I might do it for the rest of my life. But the another thing that I know is that it's getting better, and I'm doing it less. There are times where I know I would be either doing it or struggling not to do it, that I feel this natural, here's the urge, and my subconscious is just kicking in and being like, that's okay. It doesn't feel difficult anymore. It doesn't feel like it requires a concentration. Because I fed a hefty dose to my subconscious mind that says, we don't want that anymore. So please don't provide it. Please don't provide that to us anymore. So yeah, that's that. I don't know how to really end a video. Happy trails. Take care. Comment and subscribe. I don't care if you do those things. That's just what people say at the end of videos. Okay, take care. I love you. I'll make there's another video about that I've made about, you know, the fact that I love you because you are love and I am love, and that's a super fun thing. So you can check that out if you want. Otherwise, I am out. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go do something soothing like a bike ride, I think. I like bike rides. Or maybe ice cream is pretty soothing. I don't know. One of those soothing things. I'm going to just do them. And then I'm going to tell my subconscious, like, hey, this is pretty good, right? Like, pretty much better than moving my legs around, right? Yeah. So So anyway, this is me not knowing how to end a video. Goodbye. I love you. Have a good life. And I'm going to end the video. I'm going to push the stop button right